Okay, hello to everyone. Some SNGs once again. Started a moment ago. On the top left we had kind of a setup. Here. Oh, I open raised with the queen 10 suited. Small blind 3-bet. Defending is fine with such a playable hand from the bottom, obviously. And we flop the top 2 pair, and we then had the top set, so hand pretty much played himself on the flop. I'm pretty happy to stack off here. We'll then gonna have some ace queen over pairs, AX with ace of hearts, stuff like that pretty easily. Maybe some king jack type of hand and so on. With one heart, for example, could easily be stacking off. Oh, that was quite a flop. Let's take this table here. Kind of a coordinated flop, so I'm just checking. We also have the backdoor diamond, which sometimes give us equity to call turn probe more easily, but I think king is kind of a crappy one. If it was some more blank one, would consider calling that a height here, but I don't think it's good on that turn. And yeah, I would have checked if this guy didn't bet, but I have to call obviously with top pair, and well, can't be thrilled about it, but I think I'm still going to call 3-4, and that's this one of the reasons random guys can do random things. Just going to limp fold king 8. If it was shooter, I would defend even against the 3.5 BP raise. I think 10-8 we can go either way on the bottom right, but I usually lean toward betting. We still have almost always the best hand pretty much here. But club is kind of a crappy one. I think it's best. It's kind of a thing to try to get value anyway by betting, and this way we allow him to be bluffing with something. I'm not that happy to call here, but I think still we are too high in our range. Oh, that was actually quite thin value, but I would say. But we were actually behind on the flop. Top left we could try to make delayed C, but usually Will Lane doesn't have that much when he doesn't bet here. I mean, I'm somewhat surprised if he has like 9x or better. And now he bets kind of a weird line. 7-8. Most of the most sensible draws have not been improving, so let's make the call. And no idea why he calls the turn really. And top right, I'm just going to fold. It's pretty crappy hand to start calling against the hijack. He has a lot of stuff here. Insensible range. 1 plus 6T seems to be some sort of regular, at least from the fact that he's in several tables with me. Pretty dry flop bottom right, so we are going to see it, and again, can't be thrilled about the spots, but I'm not folding against these guys. Well played, sir. Well played. Awesome stuff. Well, we could try the bluff on the bottom right. We don't really block any of the villain. Drawing hands and queen and jack is kind of a scary combination. Oh, I sit out here. King out with 4 tables. Well, that's quite surprising that he has king queen here. I was thinking that he has the jack if I beat mostly. Maybe better third pair or something. But the bet sizing was so small that I think it's fine anyway. Needs to win like 1 out of 5 times or something. I'm going to just check call bottom left. We could bet third time, but I think it can be somewhat thin. Still quite a bit of busted straight draws possible. And again, people can make weird stuff and actually turn like some third pair or something into bluff or stuff like that. Like that guy, third bottom pair from the flop end. It's dunk bet 3 street for who knows what reason. Who knows what reason. I'm actually calling with the ace-8 shooter, it's fine hand. We don't necessarily want to 3-bet in that scenario. The bubble and so on. Well, I don't think we are getting him to fold anyway, so I'm just going to check call. Unless maybe he makes like huge over bet or something. We could go for like big bet in hope that 2x pot or something, but I don't know. Might not be worth it, and might not even work. Might just call for the split pot anyway. Well, let's try the limp. Does this guy raise again this time? Kings. Problem is that this big blind guy is probably not 3-betting. I don't remember seeing any 3-bets or that much aggression anyway. I think a jack we can call against him in raise and call, great price. Of course the hand has some issues in being dominated, but also has some straight potential and so on. It's not all bad. That's definitely something you want to consider in general, like especially when you call like hijack open, for example, with some, if you call with some crappy king X that are those hands you want to necessarily call because opponent has so many of those better hands that dominate your hand, so can be somewhat tricky. And I'm planning to bet call on the bottom left if this guy happens to shove. We are behind, we still have a ton of equity most of the time, or basically always. By betting we probably get some weaker draws to call and some bigger pair. I think I just check bottom left. We don't really have that much chances to improve. It checks pretty quickly, so I'm actually going for value bet slash protection here. And pocket jacks, I'm going to just free bet. We are of course second stack, but that hand is going to be strong enough to induce action. It can of course lead into some tricky situations if the villain happen to, or if the villain call and we get some overcards on the flop or so on, but you have to take some risks anyway. I think opening the 8-jack would be fine against this big blind. Though small blind does have the great shoving stack overall. Decent anyway. So we have 4 €25 tables now running, and this one €10. Make raise with the straight flush draw. We don't quite make it, but I'm going to see that here we have some turns we can then put the maximum pressure by making big bet slash shove. Queens, same story as the jacks, but he folds unfortunately. Jack 9, I just have to shove basically. We can try once again to limp, but not easy. Oh well. Nice timing. Nice timing. Seven deuce, well, that's definitely something we are just going to open fold happily. Like upper right, 18 big blind deep, I'm usually not really, especially without antis, I don't really have shoving range. It's kind of questionable. Bottom right, I could actually try to go for limp shove. Of course, nasty part is if the villain shove himself, we can't actually call. But at the same time, open shoving 18 big blind or 19 big blind is not going to be making huge profit in the long run anyway. Of course, it's plus EV, but not with huge margin, and it's always nice to have those. Always nice to have those. Some of those AX hands in your limping range. That way, when the flop comes A high, you can be quite aggressively betting multiple streets, because it's still going to be quite a bit more likely that you are going to have the AX than the player checking behind. Kind of an awkward flop, I would say. Turn doesn't really make it much better either. Well, I think we are going to be bluffing here. Again, it's a lot easier for me to have the AX. And considering it goes check check, I don't think there is high chance of facing raise in general. Not many people are going to slow play flushed here like that. And of course, if he has ace, he should be just calling that. It doesn't really make any sense to be raising unless he thinks I'm going to bet call in hope of splitting, which is really optimistic. Of course, it's spots where I don't have flush that often either, so it can actually be kind of questionable if we should even make the bet call in the hope of split. And for queen, I'm going to shove, but not anymore. Maybe we got saved by the bottom open. And then check suited we could call position bottom left. Also somewhat deepish stack still, not that deep, but some playability anyway. I think we are pretty happy to just call it here for way, but hope that this guy doesn't raise. And we hit straight, so hopefully no one has the full house. And obviously against it, another min bet we are going to raise, so this guy raises. Well, I think we kind of have to shove here. We don't want to give. There are two flush draws. So let's just shove and hope he doesn't have the full house at least. He might have like top pair or something, but yeah, I'm pretty happy to just get the pot down as well. I mean, it's almost guaranteed that someone was drawing for the flush, so I just called here. We actually get decent price to draw for it. And we don't really want that to happen. Pocket kings we have been limping quite a bit, so I'm going to limp this one as well. And he doesn't raise. Well, and kind of a setup on the outside table. A7, let's just call. We don't really benefit much from rebetting. And top right, we can definitely go for c-bet. There are some turns to be. And again, he has the calling hand. Oh, well, one of those games. King 10, yeah, I didn't see, but well, let's go for delayed. We have some sort of value of king high, but not huge amount anyway. Well, once again, clear shoving hand. Call. Well, every time better hand. Yep. Well, ace king, we have 20 big blind. Nice 5.5 big blind on the pot already. Not Jesus, but sizing. Do we hero fold? I don't know really. Haven't seen stuff like that from that guy. I think so. But yeah, it does feel kind of wrong to be folding up here. Anyway, I think 8-10 is kind of a close one. I think I'm going for the shove because still have some fold equity, and but if the blinds go through us, we are kind of starting to be screwed from the fold equity part. So I think it should be okay, but probably quite break even overall. In general, I should lean toward aggression over the chance of getting dried up from the blinds. But don't go crazy, like you don't want to shove like total chunk. And top left, I would be calling against these two shorter stacks, obviously. And he hits the king. And in here we have kind of a cheap price. 6 jack is actually quite close one. Well, I'm still going to fold, but it's close. Oh, did I misread my hand or? Yeah, I actually did. I was reading it something different, but yeah, I don't. It can be okay to shove even into here. Bottom left don't really make any sense to be betting with my jack high when there is empty side, but not that it necessarily would make sense anyway, but especially not when I somehow read that I had jack 9 or something, I think on the bottom right. King 4. Well, it's still king high. Default here, we are almost guaranteed that we kind of have the stack of almost anything on the next hand. And we actually still got folds. King 10 is like practical nuts. It's default. And top left, I'm just going for open shove, don't want to be raise folding. And of course we are dominated. Not that heavy against the cutoff, of course, but I think we are still going to have to take that spot considering the stack depth we had. Although chunk. While king queen bottom left, kind of interesting hand against the cutoff open, but I think I lean towards shoving with the stack that we have. See as well, maybe this time we suck out ourselves. Yeah, I mean it's either call or shove pre-flop. I think both options are fine. I mean it's decent hand to shove as well because we still have blockers against the raise calling hands bit. We could shove upper left. Just one of those spots that usually when cutoff open he's not planning to fold against the the big blind at least, so we usually have somewhat decreased fold equity as well. And yeah, I just try to step the pot down on the flop, top bottom left. And went for small raise pre-flop. Balance those times we have. Most times we have some sort of big hand we want to be not shoving. And ace jack obviously calling bottom right. We have ouch, and that's one of those. Quite a bit of ouch, 10 jack queen ace. I mean raising top left. In general people shouldn't be expecting a huge amount of fold equity, so we are not probably not facing we bets that often and just calling against the pot size on the bottom left. I don't know, that's once again so unlucky overall. And this guy has set. Yep. But like running two pairs here when the villain has set and checks the flop on the bottom left. Like, thank you very much. Thank you very much. Well, bottom left we can go either way. Both options shoving and calling have quite a bit of good sides. I think I'm just going to raise here. We have quite a range advantage on the stronger stuff on this board. Like two pairs straight. We sometimes set as well. And seems like we are losing. And bottom left, pretty standard shove. You kind of have to needs to have a strong nit read that you don't shove the hand like this in that scenario. I think I'm actually going to check call bottom right. We have some sort of value ticking high. Interesting revert, so we are blocking the king queen type of hand. And bottom left we don't have to shove that hand, but I think it's totally fine anyway. And guy has the most absurd or most awkward type of inducing hand here in pocket deuces. We really want to limp call with hand like that. Well, we have cheap chance to draw, so let's just take that and not go for the raise. And top right we hit the set, which should be like always good here. I'm not going to go like really big sizing because of course checked, which will decrease the chances that they have the king X. I'm actually trying to go for check raise. He has the flush draw, but had hit the pair, unfortunately. That's probably not calling, I would imagine. On the turn, on the river, if I bet myself. And bottom left, I'm going to go for second barrel here. We don't have the flush draw ourselves, so it's a lot better combo to go for the bluff. Will Len can have some hard combos to fold here more often. And I think ace 9 is going to be fold, so it's really close. And two pairs on the bottom left, and bottom top right we could call the turn again, but I decided to just give respect to second barrel. Well, ace king we would obviously be calling, and bottom left I just called because of his extremely small sizing. Hand was total crap, obviously. I mean, you can probably fold some of those really crappy hands, even with those bottoms, but do we hold? Do, and bottom right, I'm definitely going for check raise. We can have some guts of straight draws. I mean, open enders, stuff like that. So I usually want to balance out some of those. Ace-5 shooter is kind of a hand that I think we can go anyway, shoving, in raise calling, limping. I think all of those options are totally viable ones. Of course we are limp calling if we do limp, so I often limp like weak AXs, like 20 big blind or bit shallower type of stack depth also, because I mean you can open shove profitably, but again it's not going to be like hugely profitable. He was trapping it here. And like if you min raise and you face 20 big blind 3-bet shove with like ace 4 off or something, you're not really going to be thrilled to call, and usually you want to just raise fold, so I'm going to call. Bottom left we have the backdoor flush draw, and bottom right I could actually bet, and just mainly for equity denial. Equity denial reasons. And maybe sometimes we might get called by queen high, jack high or something like that, if Willen is non-believer enough. But it's going to be obviously quite rare. 410, I think we can go either way here. When we have such basically no kicker, I don't mind to check again, just to keep my checking range a bit stronger. And on this board format, I don't think we have value in betting. There might be some point in check calling, I think. That was pretty passive to not bet the turn, I would say. And bottom left, yeah, I'm just going to check raise here. One of the best possible semi-bluff combos basically. Of course we don't have, we can have sunsets and like king jack, ace jack, queen jack type of hands for value. Well, maybe not raising queen jack, but I mean king jack, ace jack is definitely plausible ones. And talking about the ace jack, we are obviously going to be raising or shoving bottom right. And I like to use the 3.5 big blind usually just to basically to discount the possibility for will lane to call. Because you have to remember that you are out of position and you don't want to give. Like I think 3 big blind is fine, but you don't really want to go smaller than that in general. Because then the pot odds for the will lane to call from position just start to be, in my opinion, way too good. So it's not really something that you want to offer, at least in balanced way. Of course, sometimes you see people kind of adjust that if they have like some huge like pocket aces or something, they go for smaller sizing, for example. And it can be effective in a way that you often don't have sample size to really say about will lane line. If it's going to be for value or some sort of induce play, I mean. Oh well, kind of rare and interesting spots on the top right. Well, let's just fold. Let's just fold. Just that when you call, if you call the turn, then do you call the river as well? Is he value betting some sort of? Is he value betting some sort of pocket tens or something like that? And king 8, I don't love the situation, but I think it's still going to be okay hand to be check limp calling. This guy doesn't bet the flop, so I would discount usually plus draw somewhat. But I don't want to go big here, I'm just going to bet like 500. And might that be nice sizing? I don't think that hand, or at least it shouldn't be calling big bets. And so on. Flush draw completed here as well, so I think upper right this guy usually raises decently often, but not this time. On bottom left I would have shoved ace 5. Kind of more happy to call ace 5 suited, for example, with the better postal playability. And top right, I would be limping again, hopefully. Okay, we don't have the chance. I'm not going to shout here. And outside the table, I went for the squeeze here, because he's stacking off if someone shoves. Not necessarily ultra thrilled about shove if that happens, but. And bottom left, I don't really want to shove that deep in 4, but we can definitely try to limp. We actually hit everything basically. I think I'm just going to check here. If he happens to be folding with something, we give him the chance. And I probably check again. I mean, he shouldn't really have key A high that often. Of course, he might be just calling like queen high on the flop and so on. But yeah, I'm just shoving. I was hoping that he would bet bigger, but unfortunately not. And upper left, going for shove. Bottom should have really wide range in general here. Or fairly wide at least. We don't have to worry about postal playability when we take that line. And pocket 6 is just shoving a king jack suited defending, even though he uses 4 big blind. Sizing. And we are just checking back with the king high. No point to really bet. I'm going to call here once, maybe fold if he bets again, but he doesn't bet. Is there value in? I think there probably is some value in betting small. If he raises, I'm just going to fold. Most likely. King 9 top left, I think it's one of those kind of a close spots. Again, I just fold because of the kind of early position open, so well, hopefully we are splitting here. Ace 2 versus Ace 4 should be a split pretty often. And outside the table, I raised against the limp check, flop check turn. We hit the nuts on the river, so we are obviously going to be raising his bet. Suppose he folded. That's also kind of nice spot, like if you have ace of diamond and just a high, you can go for the bluff, for example, or some sort of similar hand. When you also have sometimes those type of hands, and you will have some balance on the line. You don't necessarily need to have a balance, but I often think that it's not bad to have a balance either, usually. Of course, you want to go for exploitative lines, but even if you play in an exploitative way, I don't think you want to like necessarily go for like in a way in like absolute exploitation in a way that you don't really have any balance. We can lean towards certain lines without making it like have some absolute. I'm just checking back the ace queen. We should have some showdown value. Okay. I didn't 3-bet pre-flopped here because I wasn't like ultra thrilled about the possibility that he forward shoves. And top right, we are aiming for check raise, the open card, over card, and I'm just folding here. There is also a chance that we are drawing dead at that point. Yeah, it goes check, and this guy bets. I think I'm just going to call now. He can actually have quite a bit of stuff on the queen check. Queen checked here and not trying to bluff. He didn't improve. Let's just leave. We can shove the queen 7, but it's actually quite break even. So he has been quite passive so far, but as usual, when you don't have the trap, they are going to be aggressive. That's how it often seems to go. I think we can go either way, bottom left. There is some merit in both lines. And I'm going to double barrel top right, out bottom left, call bottom right, and hopefully we'll then check now, and we check behind and hope that we are good. We are. My 7-6 is actually quite kind of bottom of my range here, defending against the small blind when he uses the 3 big blind sizing. I don't think we can go wider than that. Pretty deep stack shove on the bottom left. It's a side note. I'm just shoving the king 9. We are only a bit deeper against the bottom. And king's bottom right. 4x open. Well, let's go for non-all-in sizing. I quite often also just shove in those situations because I think pocket 3 is a bit too weak to call bottom left. It's close to. I sometimes just go for the shove because people are often going. I think top right, if I make min raise, it's going to look really questionable for 2 probably tricky type of players from what I have seen. And top right we have to call if he shoves. And we are dominating, looking good. No 10. 2. I'm actually checking back bottom right, big stack versus big stack, so I definitely don't want to get raised if I see it, and we have kind of on the weaker side of the 10x in general, but we are obviously going to call. And once hits X, it's actually quite hard to get value by betting on this board. Unless some sort of like a high bet for some reason it calls, but I'm actually going to check back. He had one of those rare pocket pairs. Who probably would have called. But yeah, he might sometimes have the better 10x, most likely as well, hoping I bluff with something. I would think, so that's why I didn't go for it. This is once again favoring my range, so we can actually think about going for check raise. Bottom left, this guy 3x's. I'm just going to need fold. I don't remember if he has been using that sizing much at all. I don't please remember that he would have, so okay. Now top right we obviously have to shove. And bottom left I'm going for let's go for small raise. Kind of want to have some of those hands. We can, if they will land limp call, we can hit in such surprising ways. And ace jack, I'm going to be raise calling. I think it's not ultra great spot, but the ICM. But once again we are dominating. Do we hold this time? We do. Oh, huge setup top left. Jacks versus tens. Or 10 just folding. I don't think this guy is nitty enough that we necessarily want to be opening or limping that hand. 5-7 I'm going to be raising. Jack 10. I think this guy is going to have quite a bit of shoving range, so I'm not going to try to do anything with that. And queen check suited, I'm just open shoving. Should be decently plus EV. Oh well. Going to call here, we might beat weaker 10x or something like that, but he might have the 5x also. Okay, he has the weaker 10, luckily. Again, you don't really want to make play like that, because it's like all the better hands are definitely going to be continuing basically, and the question is, are there going to be enough of the weaker hands? I probably made some really bad limb fold top left. This is often like, now we have 3 heads-up tables, 1 bubble table, so this is the kind of issue on these games, that then you sometimes get these spots where you suddenly will have quite a bit of actions to do. We have the 5th table as well. 9 jack, we don't really want to show that. That should have been a bit bigger sizing. Well, that is fine as well, but I would prefer a bit bigger. And up left, I'm going to go for check bet. This often looks really value heavy. So it can be even more effective, and it tells something when Will Lane doesn't bet on any street, that its range is going to be in general on the weaker side. And I think bottom left we have some space to go for 3-bet folds, so I'm not going to make any sort of shove pre-flop. And he hits the river. It's the river, unfortunately. Total chunk on the. Yep. Let's lead with the queen 8. Makes a lot of sense. Is it going to be probably its bluff when he leads here? I would imagine. Well, 10 queen we are going to call. Even against the mid-stack. Well, that's nice looking shove, bottom right. I wouldn't recommend shoving that deep. Oh well, I kind of start to hate these heads-ups. How you can run like this in these all the time. All the time it feels like. Well, it's limp, h7. Min raise. Nice sizing for 3-bet. And he had the 10. I have some outs, but doesn't help. We could limp bottom left as well, but I think shoving is fine also. Big slick. The only issue is basically when you run bad on the heads up in these games is that it's tough to make profit. Pretty much because it's 66% to winners, so winning is pretty important, and I mean I think we are somewhat on the profit side currently, but would be a lot more as well. Just checking king high. No point in betting too much. Of course there is some equity denial, but and I probably call. I mean, I think he's mainly ripping jack or some slow played 8. I would imagine 6 or 3 would bet the turn if they are betting 5-4. And queen 3, I'm just showing. It's going to be totally fine. I think on the NAS it's probably seems to be 13.5 big blind, actually a bit smaller than I would have expected, to be honest. 7-9, I would like to play both slops, so let's limp. And he min raises once again. Now we don't hit anything at all. Let's try to min raise bottom left, so we have to fold against the big blind as well if he happens to shove. And we are going to shove here. I would do with the 4x. Okay. He had it this time. Slow plate. Nice looking turn, and bottom left we actually hit the 2 pair. Let's check back, it's really dry board, so you can shove the river as well if the I'm not going to raise top right because it's still plus is big possibility. And now we are shoving on the bottom left. That was really nice turn, it seems. But by checking turn, again, if the villain has like some sort of weak pair or maybe like some float, we might get him to perhaps give some value a bit more often. I would assume. And bottom left, just checking with the king jack high for the showdown value, and he bets. Oh. It's fold. I've cleared a bonus step. We quickish mid pair, so I usually just check back. Kind of an awkward turn, so I'm just going to fold. It's really tough to be, because if we call it here, we are probably going to face decent amount of time in another bet, and it's really tough to be hero calling here. Kind of deja vu. Turn is kind of similar as well. Well, let's bet. I would imagine king x or queen x to often bet themselves. Look at tens. fold. Well, else. Two big hands, we get 0 action. Well, third nice hand action. Is this guy just really nitty or really carded? Of course, now he 3-bets. Well, we have to check call that flop. We could 3-bet shove as well pre-flop, but well, that's big sizing. I was going to check call, but maybe I'm just folding against that sizing. I don't think we need to call high card hands if he's using that big of a sizing. Well, now I will be just shoving if he raises, but now we are going to raise. This hand has nice playability, so in general I don't mind to see the flop, but this flop wasn't really exactly what we hoped for. Let's just see that fold. Okay. One of those heads ups again that nothing goes your way. Well, bottom right. Nice looking spot. For 3 we can shove shooter's version. Going to be in the nice up to 10 big blind. He's 4 shoving. Top right we could actually go for like 3-bet. And king 4. Yeah, I think I'm going to go for it shove if he hopefully doesn't shove at this point. We have tiny bit of showdown value ticking high, but I think it's probably not. Well, I think it might be close that we could also check call. Might perhaps also check call. Want to defend jack deuce. I think playability is just too weak. Just too weak. And this is a bit too weak to call, I would say. Still decent hand to try to get in the post flop, but no chance for it this time. 8 for 5 we would be defending right. And top left definitely c-betting this one. We can get good amount of nice turn cards to double barrel if the villain call. We get 6s, we can basically go either way. Limping has some issues in a way that if this happens, we are not necessarily that happy about it, but well, now we are going to be a bit more happy about it, but might be hard to get action here. Upright. Well, I was thinking kind of everything calling forwarding. And I'm going to shove the river. And 9 deuce hero calls, that was nice turn. And I think I will go for the shove. We are a bit sellover as well, so there is a bit higher chance that villain is going to raise call some weaker hands also. And just stacking off bottom right. Our hand doesn't hold though. Well, it's pretty much flipped here. Well, I'm a little bit ahead when I blocked the when I did block the one of his flush outs. Queen, just calling, nice playability. But we don't really hit, and he goes once again for pretty huge 3-bet size. Just folded. We might be good, but I would be kind of happier to call with not having the 8 that is blocking some of his semi-bluffs. Top right. No, I'm just checking back. It's going to be tough for me to be repping that much by betting turn, betting river. We have some showdown value with the king high anyway. And let's go for relate, c-bet, bottom left. Interesting river card. We don't have a heart, but I think I'm still going to try the bluff. I just checking top left. We have showdown value and the got shot. To a lane bet we can call, not necessarily ultra happy call, but anyway. And bottom left I'm calling if he shoves. And we are screwed. I'm going to just lead on the bottom right. That queen wasn't out. Oh well, kind of crappy spots on the top left, but I think we can't probably fold the turn at least. Thing is that small blind can have so many king x hands, and of course also the flush, and we don't block the flush, so going to fold on the turn on the river. Folding on the river. Hit the gut shot on left. I'm mainly aiming against some high card 4x type of hands by betting the turn. Maybe some weak mid pair might be folding, but bottom 2 we are definitely looking for check raise. Also really draw the board, so in general we could have a decent amount of semi-bluffs. Luckily he didn't hit anything. And bottom left, that hand is, or that card is going to be quite a blank one overall. Of course William can randomly hit it basically, but in bottom left it's fine to shove. It's not going to be making much profit, but some anyway I would think. No diamond top right, so we are just going to be giving up. And strips top left, we are also blocking the straight possibility, so we are looking for bet. And nice blank card. And bottom right we could actually check call. Oh Jesus. Yep, that was nasty one. That was a nasty one. We are running out of action, basically. To defend, bottom left, we get kind of an interesting flop. Yeah. I'm just going to shove here. I mean, even if he has top overpair, we are going to have a lot of equity. I mean, probably 9 spade outs and gutshot, so 12 outs at least. And we probably get those like some ace queen, ace king type of hands at least to fold. Fold if he doesn't happen to have 2 spades. If he has, then we are going to be in a bit weaker shape. It was also in a way kind of a nice sizing from the villain because it allowed me to shove pretty nice risk reward ratio compared if he had bet like 1/3 of pot or something along those lines. Nine. King 10 is definitely also bet 10 or raise hand, and top bottom right I'm going to raise here, and once again we face 3-bet shove. Hopefully we are not screwed on the bottom right. We might be if the villain has the full house, but he had only trips. Oh, let's call. We are also quite deepish. We have suited ace also, so yeah, I'm just checking back here. There's not huge point in betting. Of course, we have such strong hand that we could be betting for just the raw equity we have, but and I'm just checking here. Unfortunate board front though. Do we face 3-bet shove now? Anyway, it's basically mandatory open unless you basically know that the villains are total maniacs and you are going to face the shove way too often or something like that. But if villains are even somewhat sensible, we kind of have to be open raising AXEs anyway. And he had the 7 didn't bet himself. Well, would have lost probably pretty much the same if he would have been mandatory call on the turn. Against most sizings at least. And bottom right I'm going to go for bluff with the 4 high. I can definitely value bet 7x here. Even bottom pair would be fine. And ace king will obviously be 3-bet. Bottom left I'm just folding against, unless he mean bets or something like that. Or he or she icon, or this avatar is she of course, but what's the reality? I'm chicken anyway. I don't know if he is, or if my avatar is he or she. Those are the big questions. And we are bubble on the top right. 4 people registered in the €25. And 10 open raising. And bottom right we are on the bubble with really small blind levels. It's kind of funny when you sometimes get to heads up, like I think I have probably never been on the first blind level on the heads up, but 2040 level I have been. I can't really call against that sizing, the effective stacks being not hugely deep, because if I had called tier it would have been like SPR, I think 2 or a little bit less. I think we basically can't make profitable call with that sort of stack depth, even though the Jack 9 shooter was kind of a nice hand to call overall, but we need deeper stacks for it. Well, ace-5, if he shoves, I probably can't call. Yeah, I think ICM makes it somewhat minus EV. Forget kings, well, that has been so passive against my limps that I'm just going to raise. Maybe he's going to be more aggressive, or at least we build the pot if he wants to see the flop. 3 BP sizing, well, I'm going to still 3-bet cold calling. Well, now button has great reward for shoving, at least because my range can be fairly wide. And we get folds on both tables. This is a nice outcome. And top right, we of course have to call against the bottom shove. Or we are going to team play here. No point to semi-bluff. And we can call against decent sized bets. If the small blind bet, he probably has the AX or better, but we are just checking and hit the second nuts. I'm actually going to need fold on the bottom right because that player is the second stack, so usually they are not going to be wide here. And top left is going to be pretty mandatory bet, and going to bet quite many. Not the greatest river card, but I think we still want to be. Betting. But I'm not going to go too big sizing. Half pot is fine. Now we hope that he doesn't raise, but if he does, we have to fold probably. It's pretty hard to see bluffs in his range, at least enough of those. And anyway, it's pretty rare that people go for check call, check raise without actually having it. And we have to call, bottom left, don't improve though. And outside table, I don't love this spot, but I think we have to call with the ace queen shooter. And we are flipping and winning this time. 5-6 nuts. That's not pre-flop. Not pre-flop though. I personally like to raise these sort of hands decent amount of time, because that way we have some of those non-value hands in our raising range against the button limping. So it's going to be a bit trickier for opponents to play in general. And I'm just folding with the flush completing bottom right. The lane could also have some other strong stuff. Well, top right might become costly. Definitely don't fold the flop, and we probably have to call the turn, but the question is there better to shove, or should we check behind? Well, 414 value, and he did hero call with the A high. I thought it was possibility. Didn't even, or he was considering it beforehand. That was one quick snap call, not slow snap call. And we have some weird looking line. This guy bet the turn, I raised, now he's betting pretty big here. Well, we have quite weak two pairs, so I'm not going to raise anymore. And we can't really fold bottom right. And considering the stack depth, I think I'm just shoving here. He can still have so many semi-bluffs that I don't think we can really do much else. And when he doesn't snap call, I would imagine that he doesn't really have anything pretty much. Top right we could go for bet, but it kind of has to be shove at that point, so just fold. I mean, if we make like 800, can we really 3-bet fold anymore? He shoves 2000. Just that, so I think ace 10 we can also call. It's on the borderline, so I sometimes would be 3-betting, 3-bet folding, but I think it's fine to call. And just checking the turn, we get the open ender. I think we have quite a bit of fold equity, most likely. And pocket sevens, no, just shove. And bottom left, actually pretty nice hand to go for triple barrel. Ace is it's bad in general, because now it's a lot harder to get him to fold any AX, which he might. Might have folded if we triple barreled, but I think on that turn I'm just giving up. I know maybe we could get that king x to fold by betting the river as well, but might not work. And I think bottom right we kind of have to call here. And those are funny stuff when they happen, like turning ace jack into bluff tier is just bad. Plain bad. I think I'm going to bet small on the top left. It looks like some sort of weakish hand that we are probably beating quite often. Might occasionally be the top pair or something like that, but and top right we kind of have to bet again. Of course, we lane might have the 5x, which could be kind of bad, obviously. And this guy just doesn't. Maybe he just wakes up with strong stuff, but doesn't seem to care about his mid second stack position on the bubble. Has been the reason why I haven't been raising that much against his big blind. Crap. We could shove bottom left, but because the big blind was sitting out when the button open raised, or he was also when I had the action. But I'm not usually going like any two range anyway. But we definitely want to widen our 3-bit range in general, because button might be open raising like close to any two when the big blind is sitting out. Is 3. Well, the button folds. I'm going to try to raise. Or we could limp as well. Would be fine against that guy when he seems to be pretty active. One thing about Finland language is that there is no words for like different gender, like in the English you have the he, she, and him, her stuff. There's nothing like that on the Finnish language, so that's why I often just use he. And we have gutshot on the top left and lost the flip on the bottom right. And going to bluff here. We called pre-flop, called his c-bet, bet the turn, and now we are shoving the river. Again, I don't have the spade, Willin might have those. And I think top left I'm just shoving, we might have some fold equity. And even if we don't, we have ton of equity. Seems like he's not snap calling anyway. And top pair, upper right. Oh well. That was bad. We are going to lose these spots. Very likely. Tough spot on the bottom left. Will then subs 1/20th spot. Really, I didn't misclick the fold. Well, the situation is changing on the bottom right. We are still getting these crappy hands on the small blind. Top left, I would be happy to shove 20 big blind, but 27 big blind second stack currently. I'm not going to do that. Well, let's just check the bottom right. We have some showdown value and some chances to usually improve. We still have some showdown value, but if he bets, I'm probably not going to be doing anything besides folding. We are also kind of blocking. Well, we block the queen jack, but we also block the villain. Semi-bluff combos. Queens, do we get action? And we are, for once we have value hand against bottom blind limp. Yep. Fortunately we had the value hand result oriented wise. Well, let's limp king 5. I don't usually want to shove like over 10 big blind with these weak offshoot kings. Well, 9-7 would be open shove. 8-8-8 chips. Bottom right. And the queen 8, we are calling against the small blind. But he doesn't shove. Trap in open shove again, but let's get the chance, and I think jack 8 we can probably go with making the non-all-in so that we can still fold. Still fold if both of the village happens to shove. Now 7-5 is not enough. Ace jack, well, this one I'm not folding obviously. And I think king 7. Well, let's make tight fold. And top left we have to fold. I would be happily stacking off against the small blind, but I don't think we can do that against the mid stack. Jack 8 not quite strong enough, I think. So it's probably really close. Bottom right. I think we can probably. I'm not totally sure. I think we can call. And top left, I'm actually going for open shove. We don't want to induce against the big blind. And seems like we are flipping and losing. Was kind of unfortunate. A7, I'm just going to mid-raise fold. And pocket sixes have to be called. That was nice flop. And check 9 would be open shove. Nine. White. 4 straight is unfortunately not good. Wrong game. And ace jack, mandatory call bottom left. Well, bottom left we can min raise or limp, but we are not folding. Not folding pre-flop. Oh, that was crappy turn card. Crappy turn card. Now it's kind of an interesting spot. Can we value bet? I don't think 7x is probably checking, so, and I don't think he has a lot of AXs. So let's try to go for team value. And king 9 would have been call, and well, we are folding the pocket sixes because these guys are probably colliding. Looking bad for me, but now a lot better. 6-7 with my stack depth should be fine. And I'm just flatting top right and folding if someone raises. Wow, that's nice spot on the top left. Hopefully no ace toe or diamond. Nice. Nice. 8 is actually a really crappy card because that is quite high chance that the villain actually has won, and I would imagine 10x to be getting decent or raising decent amount of time, but I think we still have to value. Okay. I think he has it. I'm going to be hero folding. That's definitely kind of an exploitable fold too. Min betting, we have some factors, so I think I'm going to peel with that price. Now we don't have the last draw, but we actually have gutshots at this point. Now we hit the top pair, which is hopefully good. Well, okay, he has 2 pairs. He has 2 pairs. Raising the 5-3. Practical nuts. Not low, almost. We get open enders, so let's fire on the top left. Kind of mid fold on the bottom left, I suppose, but was using quite sizable, bigger c-bet sizing. Was trapping. We could check as well, I think. Again, both options are fine. No action when we get the checks. So 4x. I don't know what to think about that. We have such a strong hand still that I think folding feels kind of weak. Anyway, but I don't know. It's not really great to call either with that price. And we flop the combo draw on the top right. We want to raise. I suppose we probably want. Getting folds with this specific hand has so much value. In a way that anything that folds is going to be better than my current hand. And I mean, we don't love this spot, but I think we just have to stack often. I don't really. Kind of a weird shove once again. Like how often you are getting call from weaker hand, really. I mean, that hand is basically flipping, so is it weaker is kind of a question. I mean, my value range is basically going to be always ahead of queen jack here, so that's why I would question that play quite a bit. And I'm not like, maybe it would be better to just call in general, but yeah, it still has so much equity and going to be not low, so I'm fine with the raise stack off. And bottom right will then luck boxes nicely. And bottom left we have to call if he shoves. Once again has the goods. Hopefully no 9 on the top right. That is one weird donk bet. I mean, flop is extremely dry and he goes for almost pot size donk. Basically something that shouldn't really ever happen, basically. And we can't really overcall it here, I would think. And we got to hedge up here. Take 5, probably not quite strong enough. In the Nash. Aces. Now Justice 10. What's going to happen? for queen, and I think we won. And pocket threes we have to call. A nice flop because he has less outs. Spades wasn't out anymore. Well, let's just call, see the price. Pot size, see bets. That guy is at least going for big bets. Unfortunately, we don't have anything in any spot. And yeah, I think we have to. Probably, well, we don't have to value bet top right, but just calls pre-flop. Question is, does he have enough A highs or not? I'm just going to check. Just going to check. Well, I'm just showing the queen 7 as well. Definitely plus EV. Don't really want to be folding. Of course, limping has merits as well. That hand plays decently well and so on, but I think the risk of getting raised is still kind of not too high risk. And queen 9 is obviously snap call, and we can't hit. No. I had like 9-8, I would shout here, but yeah, this guy seems to be now really aggressive. We would just need to get some sort of trap hand with the button, and probably he just snap checks then if I get one. Yeah, I think I'm just raising. Alright, well, now we would have the trap hand, and he doesn't bet. What the heck is this guy doing? He has 3%. Jesus. Min bets basically. Weird stuff. We could turn ace-10 into bluff. We have double gutshot. Oh yeah, I think I'm going to bet half pot and shove the river. He probably has quite often just some sort of pair, or he might have some weak pair, maybe Jack X that we're gonna likely put into tough position. We have some showdown value with the ace-10, but I don't think it's necessarily that big here. King 6, I'm just shoving, it's somewhat plus EV. Somewhat plus EV. Ace 5 we could of course limp call as well, but Thing is, I'm not a huge fan of indulging with crappy AXs. You are so rarely going to be in that good of a shape because it's tough to dominate anything basically. Unfortunately, he hits here. We still try to cling to our life. 3 big blinds. 9-4. Well, I suppose it's going to be shove. And nice, he folds. Queen 8, this easy call. I wouldn't shove that one in his shoes. Scary turn card. Gave him like ton of outs. Basically, if you know that you are against good opponent and your own image is not like super tight or something, don't shove wider than the nest basically. Yep. Awesome setup. Awesome setup. It's 4-way, but yeah, I'm just going to bet myself here. Would probably call even bigger actually. I mean, if someone has the ace, they are probably calling anyway. Ace jack versus aces. Heads up. That's pretty nasty one. But on pair, flush draw, we can go either way, but usually I prefer checking here, where we can use the hand as bluff catcher sometimes as well. Of course, it's not the best sort of bluff catcher because we don't really want to have the king necessarily, and we don't improve to anything. Well, we get the checking chance. Ton of ouch, but not this time. And do we 3-bet? Are going to 3-bet. Let's hope he doesn't shove. And 10-8, we could go for check raise as well. But no c-bet. And not any nice card on the bottom right, so I'm just giving up. And flop going check. Well, small blind can have pretty much anything at this point, but if the small blind checks again, we are definitely betting ourselves, but we have the call here. And one thing about Tony P is that when he checks, he's going to be betting the turn extremely often. Seems to be sort of tendency. But of course 10-9 is not really hand you want to raise against it. Interesting flop. It's 4-way, so I don't know. Someone might have something too often too. The Western is, do we even want to call? You probably want with the backdoor flush draw. Without it, I would actually just fold. Fold here. And well, We are not going to be ahead. But do we want to really bluff either? And top right, we have to raise the river. And top left, I'm going to call in position, and we have pretty deep stacks, so can hit in nice ways. This is not really close, but we still hit something. So we are not folding against that sizing. If he double barrels here, I'm just going to fold. And going to check back and try to get to showdown, and we get counterfeited. Well, I think if he checks, we are going to be betting. We want to go for quite a big sizing because we are basically repping that we have the full house, and we can definitely bet big with the 8x as well because it's quite unlikely. Well, if the lens tricky, he might have king x sometimes, but I think in general it's going to be pretty rare. Pretty rare anyway, not going to open bottom left because the big blind is so shallow. Nice looking flop on the bottom left. Top left, I mean. Aces. Oh well. Oh well. Quite a setup. Yeah, I'm just checking here. It's kind of a flop that some will then hit something extremely easily. And if he defends wide, he can definitely have a lot of stuff around the 8 and 5 also. So 2 pairs. Board can run into nasty ways, though this is definitely one of those nasty cards. I think we have to check back here. Yep. It's quite a miracle if we are good. But yeah, I'm not going to bluff either. 7, 8, ace king. Real question is why the heck ace king doesn't 3-bet pre-flop, but I mean, at the bottom right situation we can turn some hands into bluff, but I don't think 2 pair makes sense really because we still have some sort of value. He has like just 1 pair or something. We could definitely think about bluffing, especially if it's not like top pair or over pair. I check back here. Big blind can have still quite a bit of stuff here, and we definitely don't want to get check raised. But if he, oh, I was open raising, right. Totally missed that. Well, I suppose we are probably folding at this point. Well, might be close actually. That was expensive mistake. Oh well, we were in good shape, but is there luck boxes? It's only P luck boxes nicely here. At top left I'm going to be betting. It's nasty if we face raise, but we can also double barrel extremely nicely if turn comes hard. Well, I'm not going to fold against this min raise. Now it gets awkward, so I suppose we probably have to stack off, but can't be too heavy about it. Queen. Again, oh yeah, I think he should have been pre-flop all in, to be honest. I 3-bet cutoff open should be no-brainer 4-bet. But well, end result was the same. He actually gave me the possibility to get out of it by raising the flop, but I mean, without the backdoor flush draw I would have folded probably, but I think it's a bit tricky when we had the backdoor flush draw gutshots and possibly alive overcards. Well, top right we are definitely going to bet for value. Kind of nasty river. I suppose we could try to bet like small. We still have strong top pair. Well, I think I will play these through. We already have 2 hours, so that's going to be enough for the recording. We completed major challenge. King 5. Not going to open against those blinds. Probably not tight enough. 5, 6, nice hand, but do we get play it? Can't call. Every lane limp we could shove or check, both are fine. Well, we could go again for specialties the deep if the small blind happen to shove and big blind call. Big blind should have extremely strong ranges. And well, it doesn't really matter that much, I think. If you think about ROI, that whatever we do, use the non-all-in or not, the difference is probably like 0.1% at maximum, probably less than that. And of course, sometimes it counterfires that we would have won the three-way, but often, like if I have like those ace queen, ace king type of hands, I'm actually just shoving, and because the chances that like ace king is going to be alive decently well is going to be just so high, basically. Interesting flop spot. I think I'm going to shove. He still have some fold equity, most likely. Might get called by weaker hand as well. But it's really close spot, I think. What we get here. Currently we are up 7 or 65 euros, not counting these buy-ins. Against button open I'm going to shove. We are also clearly smallish stack, so ICM is not really concerned. We can definitely get called by a weaker hand as well and have probably some fold equity. But of course he has his queen. And top right we are just shoving with that stack depth. You are never that happy when you see the ace king when you have the queens. Demon River. Well, 1.5 big blind, we have 0 fold equity, so King 10, well, that's practical. Not practical, not kind of a bad flop, bottom right. It's pretty easily to limp calling range. Yeah. Might try to bet the river once again, but dominating upper right didn't work out. Well, last game, do we get anything more? Let's the position, and well, we would have tuned the position as well. Webcam is not shown on the Zoom because this guy is 3xing. Tony B goes for the call. Kind of a questionable. Suppose you can call something profitably, but I mean, in balanced way, of course, you can call like aces or something. But limp trap time, and they just don't raise. Yep. Well, that trap play backfired this time. Five is going to be stack of most likely. Not in this case though. And 7-9 I would be open shoving pretty much the bottom of the range, like 6-9. I would usually not shove anymore. And then jack. Now the small blind is deeper stacked, so there is less value in any sort of non-all-in play. Because if I raise, this guy shoves, medium stack has to have like really strong hand. I mean, yeah, of course we survive more often, but buying bet press folding still, but chances that we get into money through that is going to be decreasing a lot. We could flip king queen as well and call against the shove, but usually I'm just shoving. and now we probably need to suck out aces. Ding! Oh, no queen on the river. Oh well, rough end of the run, but we still made some profit. Some profit anyway, 63 euros, 58 change. Would have been better, but still okay profit for 2 hour, a bit overplay. But anyway, thanks again for watching. Bye for now.